Man, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, I had to step away from the game because it got to a point where I didn't feel like I was playing with players of my caliber.
It's really a microcosm of life. You know, my music is based on life and the things I've experienced. Like I made a song called Give It To Me, which was inspired totally by a party that I went to by Mary J. Blige. When she hears that song, she knows exactly, because she was there, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. So it's pretty much inspired by life. So anything is inspiration. A lot of times you're flying at 50,000 feet. You need someone to always keep you grounded. I have great friends around me who, you know, I don't shun their advice. You know, I encourage their advice, which I think is very important. You can live in your own alternative universe with how people treat celebrity these days. But, you know, as long as you keep good friends around you, and also not putting yourself in a box and becoming a prisoner of your fame. A lot of people, once they become famous, they stop doing things that they did. They don't go to the store. You become a prisoner of your fame. And I've always been aware and cognizant of that, not to allow that to happen to me.
And I felt like I was investing so much time in the now and in the art piece of it that, you know, when it came time, you know, for my investment in my future as far as my business team and the team of executives around me, you know, it kind of got away from me. I got to a point where I was having so much success in so many different areas, and so I wasn't paying attention to making sure that I was still nurturing the team. And then when I had to come back off a tour and I had to get back into business mode, you know, I realized that, you know, I had outgrew my team. It wasn't like they were bad. It's just that they weren't at the level of excellence that I was at. That level of excellence is very, very high for me.
I love what I do. And then when you love what you do, you want to be the best at it. You know, you don't make music to be second best. You make music to be the best. So whatever you do, it don't have to be music.
Successful. People don't realize that most people that are successful and, you know, earn a lot of money, they're really just doing their jobs extremely, extremely well. And that is a benefit of it.
It just comes.
And then it becomes something that you can use to help other people. Because there's but so much stuff you could buy, you know, and then it becomes, you know, it becomes what, you know, it should be used for us to help each other and to make positive changes in the world.
Nobody like, are you kidding me? Like, I do this. Like, I've been doing this a long time. So sometimes you have to throw your stats out there to remind people your last ain't better than my first. You know, it's a true statement to me. Like, there's a lot of people last ain't. I mean, it's reasonable doubt. So. It's hard to beat, you know what I'm saying? And you know, you just have to put your stats out there to remind people, like, yo, this is, you know, I'm the real deal. An individual thing. I'm not gonna let anybody speed up my process. I don't care what's happening out there. That's the great thing about, you know, having ultimate confidence in yourself is it doesn't matter what's happening. I don't care what's happening. I don't care what you on or this person's on. This is what I like. You know, my life is tailor-made for me. I've learned more from failures than success. And it can be paralyzing, this failure and the fear of it. My first album I made was an album called Reasonable Doubt, which in the small circles was considered the album, like a classic album, like the album for that generation and the voice of, you know, people that were going through similar situations. But it didn't sell massive numbers worldwide, right? It was still very niche. Then my second album, because of, you know, Reasonable Doubt and its lack of commercial success, you know, I try to make these records that were bigger and will be more popular, which was a failure. Going for that success really messed up that project and, you know, set a bad tone. It was a huge learning lesson for me that if I was gonna be successful, I had to be successful with myself. I couldn't be successful doing what other people were doing. I had to do what I believed in and what felt real to me and felt true to me. I started, even in my beginning, I just lived such a rich life, a full life, that, my first album came out, I was 26, and I had seen so many things in the streets, so my attitude was like, man, I've seen so much, and, I don't have anything to prove. I know who I am. I'm a very self-aware person. So when you're self-aware, even when you're dealing with someone's ego, you know when to allow it to, you allow that ego to live in someone's space. It's the problem is when you engage that energy, that's when there's a problem. If you engage the ego with your ego, then it's like, okay, now something has to happen. It can keep escalating to a level that can be irreversible. But if you don't engage the ego, if you know how to manipulate or play around with the ego, or
that's
that
weight in
energy,
itself to people.
and you give light back to darkness. Very difficult. I have more fear going back to, I like to advance every year, to advance myself, spiritually, mentally, everything. I like to advance myself. I have more fear going back than losing money. Because like I said, when I lost money. I've been broke, I've been rich, I've saved and blown bread. It's a lyric,
Yeah. Oh, boy.
But it's real. Money is just a byproduct, and that sounds really cliche, but it's true, of doing a great job. As it started approaching, I got on this side of the year and started to approaching September, I thought it was only right to bring it full circle, being that the first one came out on the 11th.
Yeah.
And this being the end of the trilogy, to put it out on the 11th, and this way we could recognize what happened that day. Because the first time, of course, it wasn't planned.
Right.
But
I don't want to make the most money. I want to be known for giving the most money away. There's this man called Mansa Musa. It's a part of our history. He was an African king, the richest man in the world, and the changes that he made, the way he would go into the communities in Africa, and I'm talking about like the way he would just help the underserved and underprivileged. He's a big hero of mine. I'm gonna send you. Someone has to experiment and go do it first, and then artists will sit back and watch it and be like, okay, I like this, I don't like that, I like this part, and they'll perfect the methods, and then and it all pushes the genre forward. Anytime that you try to do something different, and you should always try to push forward, and whatever you're doing is going to be problems because it's never been done before. So you can't anticipate all the things that's going to happen. I don't write anything when I'm recording. I don't write lyrics. I just listen to the music and I formulate the song, like just off the top of my head. I just go over the lyrics again and again until I have the song, and then I just go in there and I record it. So it's definitely a God-given talent, and it was drive also. It was drive. It was tough. We toured the whole Eastern Seaboard because that's where our records would get played. We wasn't national yet, so we would tour all the way up to North Carolina. We just hit that area. Not even Atlanta. We just all the way up to North Carolina. We would tour, just jump in the van and just drive ourselves and just do endless shows. With 20 people in the building sometimes. Just yeah.
Always believing we get better and better and better.
I shot a commercial when this album had came out, and it was like going back through times through all my album covers, and I had to recreate them, and I realized how easy it was to recreate. I had the same haircut and the same thing in every single shot. So I don't know if I've been great at reinventing myself, but as far as the company, we have the opportunity to reinvent ourselves out of necessity of everything that's going on. You have to reinvent yourself. The playing field is